So, what's the difference? So, I'll tell you my experience. I've been doing BJJ for probably getting close to 6 years, and I've been doing Judo for around 4 years. Not exactly equal years. Like BJJ, I've pretty much done at least 4 days a week for that time, and Judo, like maybe 2 or 3 days a week. So those things make a difference. What we're gonna do is we're gonna cross the road. There's another park over here, and it's probably gonna be a little bit more quiet over there. So what's the difference? Anything I forget in this video, I'm making this video right now. I've got a blog post. I haven't published it yet. By the time you watch this video, it might be published. And anything I forget, I'm gonna update it in the blog post, so you can check that out in writing, anyways. So, what's the difference? Judo, there's more rules in Judo. Like, there's a lot of different kinds of rules. It's more formal. It's more Japanese. Like, I'm living in Japan right now, and there are a lot of rules. It's a very orderly place. For better or worse, it'll go fast. BJJ is not that orderly. BJJ evolved from Judo, but BJJ is not that orderly. There's not that many rules in BJJ. It's like it's more easygoing culture. Like instead of bowing, like in Judo, you bow, and you bow when you do at the beginning of the class. You bow. Well, it always depends on the school. This is another thing too. Like where you train makes a difference. So, yeah, for both. Like different schools have different rules and like their own little culture in the school, and how they practice and how they train can vary. So Judo, you usually bow in the beginning of a lesson. At the end of the lesson, and then when you do sparring with your opponent, either like tachiwaza randori, or newaza randori. You can do both. Depends on the school. You usually bow for both. BJJ, on the other hand, you'll like slap five and fist bump. You know, it's kind of like the popular handshake in California. I lived in different places around the world, but yeah, different cultures too. Like kind of hip hop culture kind of has. It just depends. Different kinds of. Anyways, so there's more rules in BJJ. Like certain, it's become more and more rule orientated. For different reasons. I think one, partly because of safety, and partly because of, well, like my sensei, Mitchell Palacio from City College San Francisco said, the rules change because Newaza was boring to watch. So, and it kind of is boring to watch, I think. So they made it more, the throws are more exciting. Like seeing someone getting thrown is more exciting. So that's part of the reason why they changed the rules, because of television. So, where was I going with that? Yeah, more rules in Judo. Like you can't break the, you used to be able, in Judo, you used to be able to do like leg picks and stuff like that, and kataguruma, and you can't do that anymore. So you can't grab the legs, you can't attack the legs. But you used to be able to. I think you used to be able to break grips with two hands in Judo, but you can't anymore. I think you can only... yeah, you know, even all the rules in Judo, and I've been doing it as long as I did. Personally, I'm not a highly conscientious person, and I'm very rule orientated, so I don't pay attention. I pay attention so far as to do what I do, but I haven't like done. I've only done one judo competition, and that was here in Japan, and that was yeah, that was called Shodan Shinsa, and I did that recently, and I'm probably gonna do it again here pretty soon. And it's like a single elimination competition, and you need to win like 4 times. And after 4 times, you can get a black belt if you do the kata correctly. So yeah, what was I saying? What was my point? I kind of lost track here. Go this way. So a lot of rules in judo, like, and they've changed. And BJJ, not many rules. Like you can, like in BJJ, it depends on your belt level. It depends on the school. It depends on the competition, like what the rules are. And so like often like brown belts, like lower belts can't do stuff like leg locks and wrist locks and stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, it depends on the school. And it's the same for competition or in the school or wherever. What else? What's different? The mat. The mat's kind of different. Talk about the mat and the gi. The mat, judo mats are actually, ironically, harder in my experience. The material, the surface material tends to be more coarse and firmer. Sometimes judo mats have springs in the floor, so they can kind of, I don't know. I don't really notice like the give to them, but you can kind of hear the sort of vibration sound that they make if there's springs in the floor. BJJ mats tend to be softer, but it really depends on the school again, because there's all different kinds of mats out there, but I'm just sharing with you my experience. For regular different, or no, more than that, 3, 4. As a regular, 4 different BJJ dojos, but also a lot of open mats. In San Francisco, there's a lot of places you can train for free, like around the weekend time, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There's open mats, and you can go to different gyms and train. So what was I talking about? The mat, the gi, the judo gi tends to be longer, and the skirt's longer. Like part below the belt is longer, and tend to be a little. Depends a little bit on the gi, but yeah, the skirt's longer, and sometimes just the whole gi itself is just bigger. But yeah, I don't know. It just depends. I've only had one gi that was technically pure a judo gi. Judo, you can only wear either blue or white, but white's the real traditional one, and blue is like, I think, accepted in competitions, but white is the sort of, what's the word, de facto color for judo. Jiu-Jitsu, kind of similar, but nowadays, like, you got more and more and more colors. I've seen pink gis, I've seen red gis, I've seen camouflage gis, I've seen purple gis. What else? I've seen multicolored gis. So a lot of different colored gis in BJJ. Did I just say judo? I'm gonna meant BJJ. So yeah, judo, you got white and you got blue. Jiu-Jitsu gis also tend to have a bunch of advertisements and shit on it. I don't like that. Like, even though I've had, most of the gis I had were technically Jiu-Jitsu gis. They look more like, I've only had blue gis and one white gi, and they look more like judo gis because they're just simple and there's no advertisements and labels and stuff on them. So yeah, BJJ, which brings BJJ is more entrepreneurial. It's like it tends to cost. You're gonna probably pay more for BJJ. It kind of has like, the whole Gracies. So the Gracies had a cool story, right? You probably saw the Hoist Gracie, the UFC, and that's like why it made it so popular. I think part of it, right? It's like the underdog is like it's a cool story. So shit, I lost track of what I was gonna say. BJJ, fuck, I forgot what I was saying. BJJ. Where was I? Gi color. I was talking about gi colors. And then, what the hell was I talking about? Yeah, I don't know. This video, see, there's a lot of stuff in this, on these topics I wanted to talk about. I knew I was going to forget some shit. I'm kind of stuck. BJJ. Oh, entrepreneurial. BJJ is fucking... It's more entrepreneurial. You gotta pay more for BJJ. Like, I trained in San Francisco, and that's where I started. And I paid like my first year I signed a contract, and I got like a discount. I think it was like might have been $120 or $130 a month. But if I paid like, when I finished the contract, I went to another school, but I occasionally went back to the school that I started in, and then I'd pay $160 a month for just 1 month at a time. And I know there's places in San Francisco where I think, was it Health Gracie? It was like $180 a month. So yeah, you're gonna pay more for jiu-jitsu. I've heard even $200. Like what's it called? Eddie Bravo's school, 10th Planet. I've heard like some places maybe costing as much as $200 a month. Judo, on the other hand, is not. Judo's more academic-like. It's more academic-like and cheaper. Like I switched to City College in San Francisco, and I didn't really pay. I think my first 2 years I paid for classes, but like I did all the classes, and then he'll let you like if you're a registered student and you finish all the classes, he won't kick you out unless he doesn't like you, then he might kick you out. And like, what I pay, $70, but now I think it might be totally free now, City College. So yeah, so you can learn. And now in Japan, I paid like $30 a month for judo. For jiu-jitsu in Japan, I pay about $100 a month for unlimited jiu-jitsu. Judo is really only 3 days a week, but actually lately one day nobody goes, and so it's like seems like it's kind of going down to just 2 days a week. I don't know. That's fine. So yeah, the money. There's a different kind of vibe to judo, and there's a different kind of vibe to BJJ. Judo's more rule orientated. It's more academic like. It's a little bit more formality and respect to judo. and Jiu-Jitsu a little bit, a little bit less. It's a little more laid back. I don't know, like, what's the more aggressive, or I don't know. They both can. What's more dangerous? BJJ guys say judo. Judo guys, I don't know what they say. What do I think? You learn to fall. Like, you gotta learn to fall. Like, you gotta go someplace, start someplace. If they're not like really showing you, training you how to fall before you're like out there like practicing throws, then you're gonna hurt yourself. And in the beginning, you're probably gonna hurt yourself more too, I think. The other thing is lessons that I've learned is you can't resist. If you resist, you're gonna hurt yourself. And look, I've done that. Like, I tried resist. You try to resist a throw or something, and there's a lot of momentum and leverage behind it. Then you can hurt your knee. You can hurt something. So a lot of it is just kind of like going with the flow. Like, if someone's got a good throw, don't, like, my former teacher, Sensei Palacio, would always say that, like, someone comes in for a good throw, just let them throw you, you want to keep practicing. You want to keep practicing, and you don't want to get knocked out because of an injury. And after you get injured, you'll think, why didn't I just throw? It won't matter then you're out because you're injured, So it's like, let me check. So it's like, yeah. So what's more dangerous? Jiu-Jitsu, you got more. Honestly, I tend to hurt. How have I gotten hurt? Man, differently. I was gonna say, actually, I've hurt my knees in Nawaza more than any like Tachiwaza throwing stuff. Like, I had a big guy once. Like, I'm like 155 pounds, and I had a big guy who was probably like an inch taller than me and probably like, I don't know how much, maybe 230. Like, we're actually doing judo, and this is 2-3 years ago. And the guy jumps guard. You can't jump guard in judo. And like, my leg was kind of like extended out. I was kind of back, and it hyperextended my knees and bent my knee backwards. And doctor said I had a torn meniscus, and that was extremely painful. And I was out for about 2 months. I never got surgery on it, and healed pretty good. But certain positions, anytime it gets close to like that kind of hyperextension area, that it kind of it's like it's got some sort of trauma there still. And I don't think it healed perfectly, but like day-to-day stuff, or even just most of the time training judo or jiu-jitsu, it doesn't bother me. I got another injury, something similar. Like, big guys, you gotta watch out for the big guys. And if you're a big guy, like, you gotta respect that. Like, you're way bigger. You got a huge advantage over your opponent when you're bigger. So you really don't need to use much strength or be explosive or anything like that. Just take it easy, Yeah, another guy here in Japan, probably like towards the beginning when I came here, big guy, he's shorter than me, but probably weighed, I don't know much, 230 maybe. Tries kani basami, which is like flying scissor throw. And basically, what he does, he flies into my knee and pushes it in. My knee collapsed towards the inside, and my knee hasn't been 100% since then. A little bit because I kind of keep injuring it and re-injuring it. Like it heals, gets better, and then I'll kind of re-injure it. I don't know what happened to it. It seemed like an MCL kind of injury. It's kind of weak. Knee's kind of weak a little bit on the inside. Anyways, Kani Basami is an illegal throw in Judo now. So no one's going to do that to you in Judo, but someone could do that to you in Jiu-Jitsu. So, and the same with jumping guard. A jumping guard is not a Judo thing. It's a Jiu-Jitsu thing. And both of those injuries are not actually that, they're not uncommon. Like, you can get that kind of, those kind of, for those moves, those injuries are common. What else? So danger wise, I don't know. You have risks to both. I think Judo's slightly more aggressive vibe in Judo than there is in Jiu-Jitsu, in the sense that Judo is more like the mission. It's a little more faster attack. Like in Judo, the rule, like the rule in Judo is to get an ippon. So ippon is either a throw where your opponent lands on their back, or it's a pin, or what else? Pin or armbar or something like that, arm lock. So yeah, I like this place. It's pretty cool. I live about 20 minutes from here, and it's a nice place. I miss the nature sometimes. Where I live's pretty busy, but actually pretty good. The ocean's there, and the woods. I can get out here. There's a typhoon today. So, what else? Judo versus Jiu-Jitsu. I think I covered most things. I think, yeah. So what do you try? What about this? Here's a question for you. What's better for self-defense, Judo or Jiu-Jitsu? I'm going to say Judo, and I'll tell you why. Judo is more well-rounded. Like, well-rounded in the sense, you have throws, and most any sort of fight or anything like that usually starts standing up, right? So BJJ is like the advanced ground grappling system. It's like came from Judo, and it's like it just evolved from Judo, and it's like the advanced grappling. There's no in BJJ. There's no osaikomi. There's no pin. Well, you can pin your opponent. But that's another thing, too. A good thing about self-defense is if you know how to pin your opponent, you can pin them until the cops come. If anything, like most cops here in Japan, I think the rule is they have to know either Judo or Kendo or something like that. So Judo, pretty good that you can be able to pin your opponent is pretty good. Arm lock, pin and throws. These are all pretty good things for self-defense. Where BJJ, on the other hand, is just on the ground. And the problem with that is that if you train for a year in BJJ and you train for a year in Judo, I think you're going to be better off in Judo. Again, it depends on the school. Because BJJ, you get good on the mat. You always start off on the mat, on your knees, sitting down. But fights don't start like that, you know? And most guys, even guys that like get up maybe purple belt, BJJ, brown belt. I don't know. Like, if you spend your whole year in one school just training BJJ, I don't think you might learn like a leg pick, or you might learn some wrestling stuff like single legs or double leg takedowns. But most schools that ever trained in for BJJ, they did very little to no takedowns or throws or anything like that. So really, if you're in it for self-defense, I think judo's better, because you're gonna learn some throws and some attacks. Only thing, it depends on the school. Like, some judo schools nowadays, the rule is like leaning more towards just throws, right? So you could end up in a school that just trains like totally, just doing tachiwaza techniques. That's possible, I think. I mean, so you gotta go. Like, my advice would be, do either one, but like find the best of both worlds if you can. And if you're training judo in a school, go to one that at least spends, I don't know, say what, 30% of the time doing newaza at least. Or if you do a BJJ school, go to one that would have, like, I know in San Francisco there was like a school, one of the Ralph Gracie schools would have some classes for takedowns and throws and stuff. And then I know San Diego, I think, was the what's his name? I don't know how to pronounce his name. Salo Hibero or something like that. His schools, and he's got kind of like a chain of schools. I think they do some judo stuff. So it really depends on the school, but yeah, I would lean towards a school that, and the thing is, it's like anything, man. You gotta like practice this stuff over and over and over and over again. It's not like you just do one class, learn a throw, and then bam, you're like set for self-defense the rest of your life, or you're just set to, like, oh man, like in judo we do like what's called uchikomi, which is like repetition of the move right up to the point of the throw. And like in Jiu-Jitsu, like BJJ will do that with like newaza techniques. Yeah, this is the thing, I think I wish that judo schools would do that also with newaza. Like, we do it with tachiwaza, but I think, yeah, it would be better. Oh, another thing I could say, like, what's the practice? What's the different practice? Yeah, warm-ups can be similar to judo and BJJ, and it depends on the school. Like, you might start off with like some judo. Like, yeah, where I go now, there's no warm-up. You're on your own for warm-up. It's just like we do like a warm-up on your own. You stretch and whatever. You can run around the mat. Mat's not very big for a judo mat, but and then what? And then we go to pretty much a little bit of either. We'll start with either newaza, like right away, like go right into like newaza randori, which is basically sparring, ground sparring. BJJ, they call it rolling or sparring. Or we'll do a little uchikomi, then the newaza, and then we do tachiwaza. We do quite a bit of newaza actually where I train now. Probably like we spend probably as much time doing newaza randori as we do tachiwaza randori. So I think it's cool. I like it. My first school, City College, is kind of different. Like he has like a bunch, as far as like the intermediate classes go, it's pretty much all just tachiwaza. That's how it became. I was there from 15 until the end of 2018, 3 years or so. So, but then he has like beginner classes, which are a mix of no-waza and tachi-waza. So yeah, and like there we used to like run around the mat, do some skipping, running, jogging. Sometimes we do stuff like push-ups, some stretching, sit-ups. Yeah, it depends. Other schools, it depends on the school. A lot of BJJ schools will do forward rolls, judo. Yeah, the warm-ups aren't that different actually. Kind of depends, like where you are. Anyways, my arm's getting tired from holding this phone, and if you have any questions about judo or jiu-jitsu or something I didn't talk about here, let me know in the comments below, and I will see you next time. This is Ian from Fukuoka. Have a good one.